Hey, what's up? This is Micah from Every Heart Restored. In this video, we're going to be talking about rewriting the narrative of the holiday blues if you're a person who is either separated or divorced. So it's holiday season, and either you've been through a divorce or are going through kind of relational rockiness with your spouse or ex, and suddenly you are facing all the dilemma of what do you do now with a new kind of change in your relational status or in your relationships or with your kids if you have them. And one thing I remember when I went through this season of my life was how important it was to either rewrite or reinforce the narrative of who you are. And the thing is that there were so many descriptors in your life that were centered around being a married person or traditions or understandings of who you are in a community of people, and now that's changed. And so I'm sure there's a lot of insecurity, fear, shame, guilt, anger that can come through that. But above all that, you need to remember who you are in God's eyes, and importantly how you are made and crafted. And I wanted to share just a quick verse for you. It comes out of 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 3. It's really powerful. I'm actually going to be preaching about it this Sunday. It says this: His divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of Him who has called us by His own glory and goodness. And I love that idea because it's not our glory and goodness, it's God's glory and goodness, and that in you there is the opportunity for a divine power to manifest, to start coming forth no matter the circumstance. And one of the most difficult things as a divorced person, and I've been there, is listening to those narratives that want to tell you otherwise, that you are precious, that you are beloved, that you can be forgiven, and that you can write a new chapter in your story. And so I just want to encourage you that there has been a divine power, not your power, not your will, but a divine power for you to realize that God can do something if you have that willingness to lean into that power, into that narrative, that God is with you, that God is in the middle of this time with you, and that though this may be a hard season, you don't have to remain here. You can rewrite the narrative, facing it with truth. Don't deny, but face it with truth, that you have everything you need to live a holy life. And a holy life is a life that's pleasing, regardless of decisions, regardless of what you did yesterday, regardless of how you may stumble in the future. But you have everything you need, and the opportunity is now to live into a narrative that God loves you, and that this isn't the end, and this isn't going to define you. And you have a decision that either this season or this shift in your life is either going to allow you to make a big decision, or it's going to allow you to become the big definition of who you are. And I pray that you move towards that decision each and every day, that God is acknowledged in your life so that you can rewrite that narrative, because you have been provided everything you need to make that change. So that's just a tip, just an idea, just things I remember needing to be encouraged in when everything was falling apart and people were like, "Oh, there's a divorced person." Don't worry. God sees you. God knows you. And He wants your heart to be restored from this too. Bless you. I pray that you like this, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing to our channel and continuing to follow Jessica and I on this path as we figure out what God wants to do with Every Heart Restored Ministries. Bless you.